Get in, twisted people, because we're going back to Amityville. No, seriously, we're going back to Amityville. Let's go. I'm reviewing the Amityville Harvest. Hey Twisted People, it's your Twisted Girl Next Door here, Chauncey K. Robinson, and today I am reviewing, non-spoiler, the Amityville Harvest. Now this is the way it goes. I'm going to give you my pros, cons, trigger warnings, my emotional carnage damage report, aka how is this movie going to make you feel, and finally my twisted final grade. The Amityville Harvest is another installment in the Amityville horror franchise. While staying at an aging manor to research its liquor smuggling history, Christina and her documentary video team interviewed their spooky host, Vincent, but no one can capture his image or voice on video. After shocking dreams and bloody encounters, the crew members fall under Vincent's hypnotic spell. Can Christina and her sister fight off Vincent's dark magic and survive Amityville's deadly harvest? There are definitely some fun practical effects in this film. I think when the film leans more into the practical effects and not necessarily any kind of like computerized or CGI effects in the film, it actually does really well when it comes to the blood and the gore and some of the kills that occur in the movie. It does a really good job of that. You're gonna have fun watching those, and in some cases where you see monsters, or maybe they're monsters, or certain maybe dream-like kill scenes, those actually really draw you in. The movie doesn't overstay its welcome. You know, this is the thing about this film. It is an installment, the latest installment in the Amityville horror franchise. And for those who are going to watch it, you probably have watched the first and the second one and even some of the remakes that came about. And so you kind of know the story of the house that made the Amityville kind of popular. And in this regard, this movie leans into it a little bit, but not so much. And in that sense, it doesn't necessarily need to overstay its welcome. It's telling you a monster, ghost, perhaps supernatural story that is happening within the Amityville universe, the Amityville town. And in that sense, it does a, solid job in telling a story. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not a movie that needs to be 2 hours and more. Most horror movies don't necessarily need to be 2 hours and more. And so this movie doesn't do that. So it gives you a nice, crisp story, and it does what it intends to do, which is, give you some spooks and scares. I think the biggest thing that some people who are familiar with the Amityville horror franchise may take away from this film is that it is somewhat of a, I don't want to call it a complete 180 from the Amityville, lore that it is, because it's not. Because first and foremost, I have seen some people kind of review it saying, oh my gosh, this seems like a different kind of, direction completely. And that's not necessarily true, actually. The film is adding to the universe of the Amityville area, because the universe itself has a lore to it, with different things that happen in Amityville. It's also not the first installment to ever kind of go outside of the house that is Amityville, that kind of started the nucleus of the franchise, right? Like the first Amityville horror took place in a house where murders happened, and then a new family moved in and crazy stuff went on there. This movie is in the Amityville neighborhood. And so it's kind of giving you this idea that there's more to Amityville than just the house itself. And so in that regard, one could argue that it actually expands the universe of it. But, there's going to be purists out there. Maybe you're a purist, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all got our, things we lean towards, where you may feel like this is not the Amityville you signed up for because you wanted something more akin to the first movie, or even the second that was kind of a prequel to the first. And in that sense, you may knock it down a little bit for that. But if you're willing and open to a horror story that expands the universe and what is included in the universe, including the monsters and such of it, then you can enjoy this film. There's no real glaring trigger warnings in this film, except, it's a horror film, so there's going to be some blood and guts going on, except perhaps there is reference to parents passing away. The emotional carnage damage report of this movie is that it is a fun film. It's not a film that's going to get you all in your feels about anything in particular. It's a fun movie about a scary story of what happens to a film crew that goes into a spooky house and crazy stuff starts happening. That's what it is. It's a nice extravaganza into that kind of lore of the Amityville universe. And if that's what you're looking for, you will find it in this movie. My twisted final grade for the Amityville Harvest is a B+. Okay, twisted people, so that is my review, spoiler-free, of the Amityville Harvest. Did you watch the Amityville Harvest? What did you think? Do you think that it's cool to expand the universe of a horror franchise a few movies in? Or are you a horror purist in a way when it comes to keeping it kind of the formula that people have come to know and expect? Let me know, comment down below, and also be sure to subscribe so that you are the first to know when I post my videos. Thanks for watching. Let's get creepy together.